This is the RV Advisor Podcast with your host, Tom Alexander. Get all the latest information, trends, advice from experts, stories from the road, and more in the world of recreational vehicles. Now, here's Tom.
Welcome to the RV Advisor Podcast. My name is Tom Alexander, and joining me from Leamington, Maine are Martin and Diane Qualey. Martin and Diane Qualey, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to have you both. And I should point out that, Martin, you are the director of the State of Maine organization of Good Sam. Tell us a little bit about what you do, the history of it, all that, and how long this has been going on.
Well, about 50 years ago, it all started with one motorist helping another. This was before we had the cell phones. So if you were broke down, with your camper behind you, and I was coming along, I'd give three blasts of the horn, indicating at the next exit I would stop and find a payphone and get some assistance for you. We developed an organization that had at one time the logo of the smiling man with the halo, yes, indicating the Samaritan spirit, loosely through the biblical story of the Good Samaritan.
Right.
And it's really just taken off and grown over the years to the point where we are a powerhouse of an organization that can be relied on to help other people in need.
It certainly sounds like a worthwhile organization, and with a long history of lending a helping hand and supporting fellow motorists, fellow RVers. I think that's just absolutely terrific. And the position of directorship, I assume, is that something that is voted on? How does that work?
Yes. So what there is there's a network of chapters throughout the state. We've got some in the Buxton area, up towards Bangor, and what they do is they nominate a candidate, and then they vote on them, and you become the state director. Which is appointed. What they do is they notify Good Sam headquarters. This is the individual we want, and for a 2-year term, and Good Sam then appoints you, and January 1st you take over and hit the ground running.
And Diane, what do you do within the organization?
I help Martin get things organized. We do a rally. We have been doing a rally once a year. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of organizing to get it done. I travel a lot and try to help him keep the groups together to do the fundraising and the events that we take and help with, which Martin can take and explain more to.
Right. What we do is our rally in the last decade or so, we've used the Freiburg Fairgrounds, which is a large facility, and what we do is we invite and we charge a small fee to cover the ground rentals, and we all come together as like a big family reunion type of thing. Mm-hmm. And we'll have different games, entertainment, and the like. And throughout the whole process, we raise money. And it may go to the Ronald McDonald houses of Portland and Bangor, Make-A-Wish, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, the American Cancer Society. Another one we do, and we also provide for this one a lot of sweat equity. Special Olympics Maine, they just had to cancel their summer games, but in addition to providing a financial backing, we'll go up and we'll time the events, with a stopwatch. Mm-hmm. And we will put a crew into the souvenir tent to help dispense the T-shirts and whatever that they like. And it really works out great.
I see. You mentioned that the Special Olympics is postponed, as almost everything is globally right now with the COVID-19 coronavirus. Not only on the front page, but seemingly every page of every newspaper and the lead story on every newscast, and it's on the top of mind of everyone in the world, really. We're going to talk a little bit about some things that occurred directly and indirectly with the coronavirus and Good Sam. When we come back, we're going to take a quick break. This is the RV Advisor Podcast. We'll be back in just a moment.
During this time of crisis with the coronavirus pandemic, it's important to help take care of those who are taking care of us, our first responders and healthcare professionals. They're on the front lines fighting this virus, and we need to be there for them. Consider providing your RV for them to stay in while out in the field, a place to retreat and relax while taking care of the sick. You can help in one of two ways. Go to rvaca.org and fill out the form to donate your RV temporarily. Or click on the donation page to help with covering the costs of getting RVs to their destinations. These first responders and healthcare providers are giving many hours a day to the fight against COVID-19 and should not be out of pocket while stationed away from home. RVACA.org is a 501c3, so your donation of your RV or financial gifts are tax deductible. Please, now is the time for America to unite in the fight, because together we can win. Visit RVACA.org today.
Don't let a road hazard ruin your fun. Get the #1 rated tire and wheel protection service from the RV Advisor. Starting at just $180 per year, it's affordable and dependable, no matter where you are. Get tire and wheel protection for 4-wheel, 5, 6, and 7 to 10-wheel vehicles, including RVs, towed vehicles, personal vehicles, horse trailers, bike trailers, motorcycles, and more. Visit thervadvisor.com or call 833-229-0911. That's 833-229-0911. We are back on the RV Advisor Podcast. My name is Tom Alexander, and my guests are Martin and Diane Qualey. Martin, I know that given the world situation now, the global pandemic, there's been a lot of unexpected changes in every phase of life. And this didn't leave Good Sam untouched as well. There's been an occurrence, an incident that's occurred, and I know that we want to share that with some folks listening. And why don't you pick up the story?
Well, we received on March 20th an email, mm-hmm. and it was, well phrased that the Good Sam Enterprises was very concerned about the coronavirus pandemic, and that, of course, all of our rallies for the year were to be suspended and canceled. But the one item that really was a tough pill to swallow, and I'm going to quote from the letter.
Yeah, please.
To keep you and your family safe, as well as to continuing to follow CDC guidelines. The difficult decision has been made to pause the Good Sam state and provincial director program effective immediately, which in essence, my job was done with. The state organization is done with. I was to inform all of the chapter members, throughout the state, that they were no longer to use the Good Sam name, and to go from there. They were no longer to conduct meetings because of the social distancing.
Yeah. And even virtual meetings, even meetings that can be done online or on the phone or something. Nothing, right? It's just all completely washed away.
Right.
At this time.
Yeah. Now, I mean, so, and this isn't just exclusive to the state of Maine, right? This is nationwide.
When he referred to state and provincial directors, we neighbor with Atlantic Canada, which is Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and whatever. Mm-hmm. They have a state director. Quebec has one, et cetera, et cetera. So it's both the United States and Canada.
And Canada.
That this affects.
Wow. Okay, so this is major. This is a big thing, and no indication in the note saying that was the word temporary. I mean, I know they use the word paused,
right?
But any sort of
echoing
of the fact that it might be temporary. It's only something that's going to be a few months, or you tell me.
Well, there was an FAQ, a frequently asked questions, included, and one of them, and I'll read it verbatim. It says, "When will the program begin again?" Answer: At this time, the program is paused until further notice. And the other disturbing thing for myself is this is an election year for the 2-year term, and this time of year I should be contacting all the chapters and getting their votes and whatever. So the question is, this is an election year for my state/province. Are we continuing with the elections? Answer: the Good Sam state/provincial director program is paused until further notice.
Right. So
there
translation, no.
Updates.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the following sentence: more updates will be made at a later time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've formed a little group just to hold ourselves together. We're just calling us the Maine RV and Camping Club, just so that we can communicate.
Yeah.
You know, Marcus Lemonis, as Chief Executive Officer of the Good Sam Enterprises, holds the intellectual rights to the Good Sam name, and we respect that.
Right.
But we also have to continue doing what we do.
Yeah. Well, certainly in the spirit of what you've been doing, that's a good thing that you're trying to maintain some sense of community there and support. Has there been any effort at all to reach out and try to get more information from the folks at headquarters, or any efforts at all?
We've sent an open letter to Marcus Lemonis, indicating, what are we going to do? The Massachusetts State Director has shared with that, I believe North Carolina and whatever. There's a ton of emails going back and forth. Mm-hmm. The best thing I can, and if you want to do this, it's the last question and answer is, if I have any questions or comments, who should I contact? Answer: please email goodsamsupport@goodsam.club, and it's abbreviated GS Club Support at goodsam.com. Mm-hmm. And so far, I'm sure it's because they're overwhelmed. We have not received any answers.
Well, it's important to point out that the founder of our organization, the RV Advisor, and by extension the new 501c nonprofit organization called the RVACA, the Recreational Vehicle Advisor Consumer Association, is founded by Gigi Stetler. And what we do is, we are a voice for the consumer. We're a voice for the RV owner. And we would certainly be very interested in lending our support to people who feel let down by this situation. It's certainly a situation that nobody saw coming. To be fair, we're in an unprecedented world crisis right now. No one is untouched by this. It's affecting everybody in some really very challenging ways. So, we wanted to let you know that, and, we would certainly be open to continuing a dialogue and by extension, hopefully an alliance, a support of some kind that we can do during this time.
I greatly appreciate that. A lot of organizations have reached out to us, a lot like yours.
Yeah.
The New England RV Dealers Association, as indicated they're going to do whatever they can do to help us through this. One of our local dealers, he's a real powerhouse. We've had a chance to sit down and talk with him. Mm-hmm. He was also supportive of us. When we were Good Sam, even though that we were part of Camping World, he is an independent dealer. Supplied a lot of funds and technical seminars and whatever. So we're just a lot of people who have heard about us. They love us, and we're just want to embrace all help. We don't know what's going to happen down the road, and we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it.
Yeah, it's again, definitely challenging times for everybody, and this situation too. You'd mentioned Marcus Lemonis, who had the rights to the name, the ownership to the name. He is not the originator of Good Sam, of course. This goes back well before. He was just maybe wasn't even born by when Good Sam got started. But that's either here nor there because he owns the name now. And full disclosure, our founder and CEO Gigi Stetler has had her direct confrontations, if you will, with Marcus Lemonis, and it's something that she's no stranger to, and there have been some things in the past that didn't quite smell right with certain things happening in the industry, and so. I'm not in the business of making predictions, but when you hear something that's paused historically, many times it doesn't always become reinstated. So it's just a concern, and again, maybe there's a connection and an alliance that can benefit all. So if you could share a little bit again about because I want to really kind of end this on an upbeat and a sort of an inspirational tone, and that is what the work you guys do, and you're trying to continue to do in a more personal, maybe less organizational position right now, but you're still trying to lend a hand. Share with folks what it is you do and how they can contact you.
Well, I'll just do that. When we had our rallies and whatever, we were not afraid to become a little silly now and then.
Uh-huh.
We had the Great Race, which was between the Maine potato, we called him Chip,
mm-hmm.
and the Rhode Island quahog, we called Pearl.
Right.
And what we did is we set up a potato and a quahog, and by donating money, you could advance these two objects down the table. In a nutshell, that raised a lot of money. And it eventually, collectively, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts, Connecticut,
uh-huh.
we formed Halo's Wish with that money.
Right.
And the very first incident was in 2013. A little 15-year-old girl who had a sight-robbing illness.
Mm.
She asked if she could go swim with the dolphins.
Yeah.
We cut her a check for her airfare for her and her family. hotel room, her meals.
Yeah.
And she swam with the dolphins while she still had a sight.
Wow.
And every year, we continue to do things like that. You know, sometimes it's just as simple as helping out a local food pantry, going to the town office, and at Thanksgiving, giving a check to let the town officials decide that they can have a meal. And that is why we continue to operate. We're doing it a little, not under the table, but we're not using the Good Sam name.
Right.
But we continue to do what we do. I don't care what you call us. We're still having the Samaritan spirit, my friend.
Well, that's wonderful. And I can hear the sincerity, the passion, the emotion in your voice, sharing those stories specifically about the young girl and the dolphins. Great. What a wonderful thing you're doing.
In a plug, just Google Halo's Wish. Halo's Wish. Halo was at one time part of the marketing strategy. He was the little dog that Good Sam had.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
So that's where it all came from.
Yeah. Well, listen, one of the real true fringe benefits of doing this podcast is to connect with people, not only hear their stories, but then also, what they're doing in the community to help others. It never ceases to inspire me and reassure me of the human spirit. It's just great what you're doing. I can't tell you how much it personally means to me that you're doing, and I know our listeners are affected in a great way, impacted in a great way by your efforts, both of you, and by extension your group and all the people that are contributing. Once again, is there a one more time on the website, please?
It's www. For the Halo's Wish?
Yes.
Okay, haloswish.org, I believe.
Okay.
It's just Google it. It's Halo's Wish.
Great, Halo's Wish.
And what they have is they actually have a timeline.
Yeah.
Where it goes from the race to the little girl going to swim with the dolphins. Mm-hmm. The next year, we've gone and supplied a child that just couldn't go anywhere with an iPad.
Yeah.
That's all they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
It's comparable to Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, it sure sounds it. I was instantly reminded of Make-A-Wish. Yes.
Yeah, except we ride around in a bunch of RVs.
Right, exactly.
And they color their hair pink.
Last statement is we wanted to raise money for Halo's Wish at our last main rally.
Right.
And I very boldly told them I'd like to have them raise $1,000.
Yeah.
And if they did that,
mm-hmm.
I would dye my hair pink.
Oh, yeah.
Have
you been able to wash out the pink?
They raised $1,500.
Uh-huh.
And I, in front of about 200 people,
right,
had my hair dyed pink. I'll send you a picture of it.
I'd love to see it. Yeah. So it's like the old joke: we who are about to die salute you, right? I guess that's
right.
All right. Well, listen. So, I'm glad you lost the bet, and I mean that with all sincerity. You had to dye you had to dye your hair pink. I think that's fantastic.
Yes.
And I had to go to Canada with him.
Oh boy!
The next weekend was the rally in Quebec,
right?
And you should have seen the looks I got when I crossed the border.
I'll bet you did. That's hysterical. Well, listen, but it was listed for all the right reasons. So, listen, again, we thank you so much, Martin and Diane Qualey from Leamington, Maine. And if you're a geography buff like I am, Leamington, Maine is about 30 miles northwest of Portland, Maine. The great state of Maine. I've only been to Maine once, and I can't tell you how much I enjoyed it. The people are just great. And it was many years ago when I was working for a radio network, and we were doing a series of radio shows at some of our affiliates around the country. We spent time at Sugarloaf Mountain. Absolutely tremendous. So, Martin and Diane, thank you again so much for coming on and sharing your story and your mission.
Thank you for letting us share. We really appreciate this.
This is the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.
You've been listening to the RV Advisor Podcast with Tom Alexander. This podcast is produced in association with Studio Alpha and Alexander Productions in Miami. Visit thervadvisor.com for more.
The RV Advisor and the Recreational Vehicle Advisor Consumer Association, also known as the RVACA, have teamed up to combat the spread of coronavirus. Make your donation today to the RVACA's Coronavirus Assistance Fund. With your help, we'll provide RVs at no cost to self-quarantine individuals who are infected or at risk of catching the virus, especially those on the front lines like healthcare providers and civil servants. The RVACA is a 501c nonprofit organization. Visit rvaca.org/coronavirus-donations. Don't let a road hazard ruin your fun. Get the #1 rated tire and wheel protection service from the RV Advisor. Starting at just $180 per year, it's affordable and dependable. Visit thervadvisor.com or call 833-229-0911.